So today we are working on combining like terms, and we're going to be using all rational numbers. So fractions, positive, negative, decimals, all that good stuff. Gianna has 36 pieces of fabric, 36 yards of fabric to make sets of matching placemats and napkins. How many matching sets can she make? So over here on this picture, they show us that the placemat is 1 1/3 yard, and the little napkins are 1/6 yard. In total, we need to figure out how many she can make that'll use all 36 yards. So if we even get started, I'm going to turn 1 1/3. I know eventually I'm going to have to add these, so I'm going to turn them into equivalent denominators, meaning the same denominator. I'm going to use 6 because I know 1 1/3 can be turned into, if I multiply this by 2 and I multiply this by 2, I get 1 and 2 6. Okay? And again, and you just need that to multiply your denominators. Not multiply, add your denominators. Add your fractions. Sorry guys, this is like my 8th take, and I've said the same thing over and over. But I still don't have it down, I guess. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn this into a mixed number. So I'm just doing some pre-work, just for the sake of room over here. 1 times 6 is 6 plus 2, I get 8 6. So basically all I did is I just rewrote 1 1/3 into this workable 8/6 fraction. So now I have 8/6 yards of fabric. We're going to see how many placemats we can make and how many, that's a plus sign, plus how many napkins we can make, which is 1/6, with our 36 yards of fabric. So again, when we combine our like terms, these have the same variables, so we are able to add them together. 8 6 plus 1 6, I get 9 6x equals 36. Now, to get rid of these, I want to do the inverse operation. So I can multiply. Well, so technically I'd be dividing since these are being multiplied together. But how do we multiply fractions? Keep, flip, change. So I'd keep this fraction. I'd flip my second fraction, which is this, just flipped, and then change my sign. So I'm actually multiplying these together. When I do that, this all cancels out. I just get x, and then I get 36 times 9 6. Well, 36 times 9, I don't know that off the top of my head. 36 times 9, I get 324 6, which I can divide it out. I get 54. So she can make 54 sets. Which, hold on, that doesn't sound right. I'm not remaking this video. It's only 24 sets, so let's see. I went wrong somewhere. Oh, because it's 6 9ths, not 9 6. I forgot to flip on the second one. Alright, again, like I said, I'm not remaking this video. We're just going to make some adjustments. It would be 6 9ths because that's my flip in keep flip change. 36 times 6 is 216. There we go. Divided by 9, I get 24. So she can make 24 sets. Sorry, and I know that might seem confusing only because fractions are kind of a pain in the butt because of the common denominator, keep, flip, change, all that. But don't worry, it gets easier once this is our only fraction example. Just remember with fractions that we need common denominators to add them. But really all we did is we added and then we divided. Okay, so I know that seems like a lot. I don't like that example, especially for it to be our first example. But this one's way easier. Selena spends $53.94 to buy a necklace and a bracelet set for each of her friends. Each necklace costs $9.99 and each bracelet costs $7.99. How many necklace and bracelet sets S did Selena buy? All right, so let's see. So first, fill out this first two boxes. Blank S plus blank S equals $53.94. Go ahead and answer that in your Edpuzzle. All right, and then next answer the second box. And then finally solve for S. So what goes in this third box? Okay, let's go over it. So again, just like the last problem, Maybe the last problem was fractions and they got a little hairy. All we do is we combine our like terms. So these are both part of the set. So we just add those together, which, let me do my side work, is $17.98. So we know each set costs $17.98. Now again, we need to solve for S. These are being multiplied together, so we need to do the inverse operation, which is divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by $17.98. So I get $53.94 divided by $17.98, and I get 3. So Selena can buy 3 sets of this for her friends. Right. Celine, not Selena, Celine bought a computer screen on sale for 35% off the original price. What was the price of the computer screen before the sale? Okay, so as you can see, we have that the P is price of the sale before, price of the screen before the sale. Okay, so we have our P, what was our price? Was our price before they took off the 35%. And we all know that that is 35 hundredths because I write 35% like this. 35 hundredths, I would just move my decimal over twice. And that's how we got 130. Okay, so this is, we had our price, we took off the 35% of the price, and that's how we got 130. Okay, again, so let's combine our like terms. So in the first 2 problems, we added our like terms. Well, now we're subtracting them. But also, you might be thinking, okay, P minus 35 hundredths, there's nothing to subtract from. Well, every variable has a coefficient, whether we see it or not, at least of 1. Okay, meaning this was the whole price, right? So we would do 1 minus 35 hundredths. And this is all 5th grade stuff coming back. And we know this gives us 65 hundredths, 0 and 65 hundredths. So we know that they paid 0 and 65 hundredths of the price, which gave them 130. And then again, we just solve for P. So 65 hundredths and P are being put together through multiplication. My inverse operation is to divide. So I'm going to divide 65 hundredths by 65 hundredths, and I get just P left over. I get just P. And then 130 divided by 65 hundredths, I get 200. So the original price of the computer screen was $200. Matt's grocery bill was $150, which included a 5% club discount. What was Nat's bill before the discount? Write an equation and solve. Well, write and solve an equation. So first, go ahead and write your equation in the Edpuzzle. Now I want you to solve your equation and answer it in the Edpuzzle. Okay, so let's go over it. Ah, what did I do? Oh, I went to the next. That's okay. I can fix that. Okay, so we have bill. We know that, well, we don't know what the bill was before, but we're going to use B to represent bill. And then they took off 5% of the bill. We know of means multiply, of the bill. And that's what he paid was $150. Okay, so let's figure out, we need to combine our like terms, B and B. Again, this looks like I can't take anything away because it's just a letter. Don't worry, it has a coefficient of 1, even though we don't see it. This is the whole bill, just one bill. So we subtract 1 minus 0 and 5 hundredths, I get 0 and 95 hundredths. So that's how much they paid of the bill, not the full amount. They paid only this amount because there was a discount, which they paid $150. And then finally, our last step, which has been our last step on all of them. This won't always be your last step, but it certainly is on these. We're going to divide by 95 hundredths. That cancels out. We're going to divide by 95 hundredths over here. Now, when we do that, you get this god-awful decimal. which is definitely irrational, but we're just going to round it because we know money only goes to place values anyway. So I get the original price was $157.89. So again, I'm just going to round it to 89 cents. So that's how much it was before the discount. Okay, and then this one, it's actually, I left the example in, so let's just talk about it. Solve the equation -3/5 y minus 6 2/10 y equals -87 3/10. Okay, so basically we combine, again, our like terms. And the only hard part about this stuff is knowing what you learned in previous grades. So this is actually what my 7th graders are working on right now, is negative minus a negative. If I had a number line, I don't know how your 7th grade teacher taught it last year, but this is how I teach my 7th graders. If I go back 3 5/10, and then I go back another 6 2/10, I end up at -9 7/10. Okay, so that's how they get this, the 9 7/10. And then again, we know our trusty old solve for y or solve for a variable. These are being multiplied together, so we need to divide them. You can see that's what they did here. Divide this side, we just get y. Divide this side, 87 3/10 divided by 9 7/10, we just get 9. So we get y equals 9. So, all right, now solve these on your Ed puzzle, and then I will go over them. Okay, so let's go over them. So this one is combining a lot of different stuff. So first, you know how I feel about fractions. It's not that I don't like fractions. They definitely just make things difficult. Because we need a common denominator since we are, well, technically we're adding these because we're going negative, then going back 1/4, then back another 2/5. So I'm actually going to add these up, but I know my answer is going to be negative. Okay, so our common denominator would be 20. So I'm going to do 1/4 equals something over 20. 4 times 5 gives me 25, so I get 5/20. And then 2/5 equals something over 20 times 4, I get 8/20. 5/20 plus 8/20 is 13/20. And again, that's how much I went back. So I got -13/20. D equals 39. Okay. Now we need to, so these are being multiplied together, so I need to divide them. So remember, divide 13/20. D divided by 13/20. And how do we divide fractions? We keep flip change. So I'm going to keep this first fraction, flip my second fraction. We still keep our negative. So I get -20/13. And then I change my sign. So now I'm multiplying them. So these cancel out. I'm left with just D. And then over here, I need to multiply my 20/13, which 39 times 20 is 780 divided by 13. I get 60. So D equals 60 on this one. And then on this one, woohoo, we don't have any fractions, which makes our lives a little easier. But we do have minus, a negative, and a negative. So again, this is all back to your 7th grade rules. If I have the opposite of an opposite, the opposite of an opposite is positive. So this is actually plus. So I have -97, 9 and 76/100. So I go back plus 12 and 81/100. So when I go opposite directions, even though this turned into addition sign, I'm still subtracting them and then taking the sign of the bigger number. So what I do is I have 12.81 minus 9.76. So I get 3 and 5/100 D equals 8.54. Now I need to, again, how are these being put together? They're being multiplied, so I need to divide them. On this side, I'm running out of room. But on our left side, we know that these cancel out, so we just get D. And then I have 8 and 54/100 divided by, doing my side work since I don't have room, 3 and 5/100, so I get 2.8 or 2 and 8/10. Okay. And again, like this seems like a lot, but it's all just knowing what you learned in 7th grade with your positive and negative numbers, what you learned in 5th grade with adding and subtracting fractions. So our key concept, an equation with variable terms on one side, you can combine like terms for inverse operations and properties of equality to solve equation. So again, on this one, this is exactly what we did. We just combined our like terms, or the terms with the same variable. So 8/10 plus 6/10 gave me 1 and 4/10, or 1 and 4/10. And then again, then we do our inverse operation, divide by 1 and 4/10, divide by 1 and 4/10. And that's how we get our answer of n equals 30, which is down here. This would ever go away. There we go. All right, and then just a reminder, so after this, if you're online virtual student, then again, well, really for, I guess, everybody, your 2.1 Math Excel is due Wednesday, November 4th. And I will have another lesson for 2.2 posted tomorrow. Goodbye. If you have questions, please message me on Schoology. That is all.